today. And I have the hiccups, and I was like, I wonder if you should start. I thought I could get rid of them. There's nothing in my cup but ice and water. And frankly, now it's just ice, and I'm having connection issues already. But it says I'm live on Instagram, and then connection issues. Stand by, pause due to poor. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen tonight, but it's an important chapter and I want to keep going. And if you're here with me, welcome. If it keeps cutting out, I don't know what I'll do, but right now it says I'm going, so I'm going to go. Chapter 20 is called Freak the Mighty Strikes Again. So last chapter, just to remind Max has been kidnapped by his dad. He is and there are cops everywhere. He's stuck in this basement with his dad, and his dad is pissed at Loretta for trying to untying him, and he starts to strangle her. So Loretta is sinking, and Max is saying, no one can stop him, no one. And chapter 20 is Freak the Mighty Strikes Again. Hi, Monique. Hi. Gosh, do I miss that group? I miss your cohort. Hello, thank you for being here. Freak the Mighty Strikes Again, top of the page 128, chapter 20. Here we go. Even a total, and by the way, trigger warning. If you have any kind of trauma, violence in your life, this isn't a good chapter for you. It says I'm not streaming live anymore on my others, whatever. I'm still live on Insta, and I'm going to keep going because that's how it goes, right? So we know that if you have any kind of like violence, this chapter is not a good chapter for you because stuff's going to go down right now, okay? So here we go. Even a total goon like me knows you can't stop Killer Kane, but I go ahead and try anyhow. My hands are still numbed out and I can hardly walk, so all I can do is sort of fall on top of him and try to shove him loose from her. I'm going to stop. I see you, Daddy, please stop. You're killing her. He just twitches me away. He's made of iron and steel. He's gritting his teeth and squeezing her neck. You can see the whites of her eyes, and she's not even trying to get away anymore. I try to get between them, and I'm going, I saw you kill her. I saw you kill. I never forgot. Not ever. I know you did it. I know. So, like, wow is written in the book here, and he thinks he's dumb, he's in the LD class, but if he saw his dad kill his mom, he's not learning disabled. He has post-traumatic stress disorder. It's a very different kind of child. And what a lot of teachers don't get is they have a lot of kids in their class with anxiety, depression, PTSD, and too many teachers treat them all the same. Even though they say it's not a one-size-fits-all model, it most definitely is. Don't let them fool you. The kids know. You can't fake it to the kids. They know. So we now know he did see his mom die by the hands of his father. It's like I'm trapped underwater or something, so weak and floaty I can hardly fight him. Can't pry his fingers loose from my mother's neck, from Loretta's neck, because everything is mixed up and he's doing the same thing to Loretta Lee he did to my mom, choking the life out of her. And he's got that same cold killer look because he wants her to die, like he wanted my mom to die, and nothing else matters except what he wants. I'm there in the dark, pushing at him. The light catches her eyes and I can see her looking at me. She's so far away, I'm like 4 years old again, peeking out from behind the bedroom door and then running to bang my little fists at him while the light fades from her eyes. I can't get him loose of her, so all I can do is keep screaming, I know you killed her. I saw you do it. You killed her, and I'll never forget, not ever. Finally, he kind of jerks his head, and I can feel him looking at me, and then his hands open. Loretta slips away, and I can hear her breathing like a broken bird in the cellar dark. What? He says, reaching for me. What did you say? I saw you did it, I say. I saw you kill my mother. You weren't but 4 years old, he says, and now his big hands are starting to curl around my neck, except he's holding me soft. I can feel his heart beating and his cool breath in my face that makes me want to fall asleep. You can't possibly recall that event, he says. You think you can, but you can't. I can, I say. I do. That's the position they put in your mind, boy. They brainwash you into thinking you can remember. He's pulling me closer, holding me soft by the neck, and now I can feel the pulse in his hands. They never talk about it, I say. They don't have to because I can't ever forget it, no matter how hard I try. No, he says, and his face is so close, I can feel the heat rising off him. Impossible, you can't. You were wearing your brown corduroy trousers, I say, talking so fast it makes me shake inside, and the black t-shirt with no sleeves. I tried to stop you and I couldn't, and you carried me back to my room and put me to bed and told me I was just dreaming. You locked me in that room and I ran to the window and I broke it with my hands and started yelling for someone to come and help Mommy. My father sighs and says, Lord, I wish you hadn't done that, boy. It cost me years. They caught you, Daddy, and they put you away forever, except then you fooled them and they let you go. I have to clean this up, he says, like he's talking to himself alone. I have to clean this up and get out of here. That's when his hands start to tighten hard and fast around my neck. I'm trying to fight him, but I'm so small and weak, and he's so big and strong, you can't stop him. No one can stop Killer Kane. He squeezes and squeezes and squeezes. I'm in this faraway place, falling backwards, real slow and dreamy, when I hear a window breaking. Then a small, faraway voice is saying, put your hands up, villain. And I really am falling, and the air is coming back into my lungs so fast it hurts. I'm lying there all crumpled up sideways, and I can see Freak. He's rolled down through the cellar window into the pile of coal, and he's trying to stand up. I'm warning you, he says in that fierce, bold way he has. I've got a squirt gun, one of those big blaster models that holds about a gallon of water. Killer Kane is looking at me. Or he's got a squirt gun, sorry. Killer Kane is looking at me. He's holding Loretta all crumpled and moaning. He's looking at Freak. Then he shakes his head and goes, I know a real gun when I see it, you little monster. He makes a move, reaching out, and Freak scuttles back a little ways, but he can't really run, and even if he could, there's no place to go. This is your partner in crime? Killer Kane says to me, I guess maybe you are a dummy after all, and he uses the R word, which I don't say. Freak is pointing to the squirt gun right in his face, and he says, guess what I got for Christmas, Mr. Kane? Guess right, because your life depends on it. Killer Kane doesn't say anything. He just reaches out real slow because he knows that Freak can't get away. This squirt gun, Freak says, and a chemistry set. That's what I got for Christmas. Killer Kane looks just at the squirt gun. He shakes his head like, who are you kidding? Sulfuric acid, Freak says, raising up the gun and sighting along the barrel. Good old reliable H2SO4. An oily, colorless, corrosive liquid used in dyes, paints, explosive, and many chemical experiments. Killer Kane says, you're lying, kid. You can't fool me. That's when Freak squeezes the trigger and sprays him right in the eyes. Then Killer Kane is screaming in this high, scared voice. His hands are scrubbing at his eyes, and it's like that scream wakes me up because the next thing I know, I've got Freak in my arms and I'm running through the dark for the stairs, running as fast as I can on feet I can't even feel. Go, Freak is yelling. He's right behind you. Go. I can't look back, but I can feel him, feel the icy cold breath of him on the back of my neck and the hands reaching blind to grab me, and then I'm going up the stairs, just flying. The steps are breaking under my feet, and he's howling in rage behind me. His hands are scrabbling at my ankles, and for just a sec, he has me. I kick loose, and then we're up on the first floor, bursting out of the cellar hole. I can see daylight coming in through the boarded up plywood, and I cover Freak with my arms, and I just dive right through the plywood. Wham! The sunlight blinds me, and we're skitter rolling through the clean, cold snow. Hands are grabbing at me, and I'm fighting to get away. Easy, a voice says. Take it easy, kid. You're okay. Iggy Lee. He's looking down at me with red eyes, and you can see where he's been chewing at his beard. I'm sitting there in the snow, squinting up at Iggy and all these cops. There must be a million cops. And Freak is laughing like a maniac and saying, it worked. He fell for it. Soap and vinegar and curry powder. It worked like a charm. He said it was sulfuric acid. What a charmer. I don't understand what he's talking about right then until only later I figure out there wasn't any real acid in the squirt gun. It was soap and vinegar and curry powder that made Killer Kane think his eyes were burning up. Killer Kane, who is still rubbing frantic at his eyes and begging for help when they put the handcuffs on him and shove him back into the back of a police van. Yes. Let's go in. All I've got room to think about is poor Loretta. That's what I'm telling the cops, that she's down there in the cellar. I'm afraid that no one is listening, but they must be, because right away they're bringing her up out of the cellar and Iggy is running to her and crying out her name. She's still breathing, somebody says. Then Graham is shoving through the crowd of cops, and Grim is right behind her, and Graham's there too. Gwen is there too. That's Freak's mom. And everybody is making a big sloppy fuss, especially Graham, who's hugging me so tight I can hardly breathe. The fair Gwen is hugging Freak, and she's saying, I told you to stay in that car, didn't I? Didn't I? Freak, he's looking over her shoulder at me, looking over Graham's shoulder, and he gives me a thumbs up as she carries him away. Freak the Mighty, he says. Freak the Mighty strikes again. End of chapter 20. Thank you for joining me. That's it. There are only 3 more chapters, and they're really short, and a lot's going to go down in a short amount of time. This week, we're going to finish this book, and then I'm going to start another one. So if you missed it, I hope you watched the replay, and I hope you're enjoying Freak the Mighty. Great book. A lot of trauma in this book, I will admit, but a lot of children have a lot of trauma, and we need to be okay to talk about it. That's how I teach empathy to teenagers, and I get them to change not their minds about the way they view the world, but I like them to change the eyes that they look at, like the perspectives that they take based on the literature that we read. And you can only learn about certain things by reading about them sometimes, and then like imagining other people going through them, right? So anyways, thank you for joining me. Sweet dreams. Happy birthday to me. Yay. October 19th, baby. See you tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that one says I'm live, but I don't believe it. Having a poor connection. Finish. Maybe it worked. It says I wasn't live on Facebook.